Welcome to Reinvention Real Talk, the podcast where powerful stories meet the pulse of transformation. I am your host, Karen Larrea, and today's episode, woo, get ready, mi gente, because we are diving into cycles, sisterhood, and unapologetic storytelling with a dynamic duo behind Taboo Talks Latina Edition. They are bold, they are real, and they are the voices shaking up cultural norms and breathing life into every Latina ready to reclaim her power. You're about to meet Jeanette Miranda, the heart-centered mentor and founder of Rooted in Her, and Cynthia Martinez, the soulful tax pro and truth teller, rewriting generational narratives one conversation at a time. Together, they are creating safe, sacred, and sometimes spicy spaces for women to heal out loud and love who they are fully. Let's get into it. Jeanette, Cynthia, welcome to Reinvention Real Talk. I have been watching Taboo Talks Latina Edition, and let me tell you, every episode feels like church, therapy, and brunch with your favorite primas all rolled into one. It was such a blessing for me to be on your show. I am so blessed to have you now on Reinvention Real Talk. But before we get too deep, let's get a quick one in. What's one taboo each of you used to believe that you now have completely outgrown?
Ooh, I love that. So for me, is calladita te ves mejor, staying
Mhm.
silent. And that's such a taboo in the Latino community.
Ah,
So it's
yes.
one that I am constantly breaking. I'm still, breaking. I'm getting better
Yes.
because my goal is to take up space and be loud.
Love it. Love it, love it, love
Powerful.
it. Yes.
And
Jeanette?
mine is cultural expectations. I
Ooh.
feel growing up, we are told what to do and they expect us to run with a career that they have in mind or find the job that they would like to us, marry the person that they'll like us to get married to. And I have witnessed and I've walked in changing my path of that cultural expectation to owning my own story and rewriting that.
I love it on both your ends. Cynthia, it's so funny. I just did an interview with another guest, and that's what she said to me. Calladita te ves mejor is what she grew up with. And,
Oh, I
we're
love
Latina.
that.
And I was like, wow. And it instantly was like, oh, that is what we're so hidden to. And Jeanette, with you, yes, isn't it funny that from even like 3 or 4, our parents are already looking for that husband they want us to marry. That's like their
Yes,
goal.
yes.
Yes, not go to, go and I want you to be, a PhD, get your PhD, be a doctor. Yeah, they're drilling those things mostly into the boys in our family. And for us, the goal seems like the past always like tengo que casarla. I have to marry her,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, so
Yeah.
I love that you both are really just like Cynthia said, being loud, taking up your space. It's wonderful. So
Thank you.
yes. So let's rewind a little, Jeanette. You're the powerhouse behind Rooted in Her and the president of Divas Miami. Cynthia, you're the multi-dimensional magic tax by pro, generational healer by night. Walk me through the moment when each of you knew you had to take a step into something bigger than just surviving when reinvention came knocking.
Do I take this one? Ooh, I think for me, I always like to say, I almost died in silence.
Mm,
So I want to heal out loud. And I am healing out loud. Growing up, I was sexually abused at a young age, which led to severe depression and major suicidal ideation.
wow.
And when I had my youngest son, who is 4, that
Hmm.
was my pivotal moment where I was like, I have to really put in the work and do the internal healing. And
Yeah.
once I started walking in that healing path, I was like, okay, I think it's time for me now to be a voice for others, which is
Mm,
why we created Taboo Talk Latina Edition. So yeah,
yes.
that was my pivotal moment because I was like, man, I almost died in silence with no
Yeah.
one ever realizing what was going on inside.
Wow. I mean, that is very brave, and that you shared that. And it's just brave that you have said, I am going to take control of this and I am going to heal myself out loud. So kudos to you, amiga. Take my hats off to you. That is a powerhouse woman right there. Jeanette, how about you?
To me, was the identity
Okay.
of rediscovering myself after motherhood,
Mm-hmm.
coming from the
Yeah.
entertainment industry, pursuing the careers, the dreams that I had, the aspirations to
Mm.
becoming a mom was everything that I dreamed, right?
Yeah.
Especially having miscarriages in the past and stillbirth.
Mhm.
Like that was such a blessing. But in the
Mhm.
process, I went through an identity shift of like, I had to be okay understanding that who I was before, I'm no longer, but
Yeah.
then also becoming the person that I'm going to be now for my kids and for myself, and not make them an excuse of like, I can't do this and I can't become that because
Yeah.
of them. I will because of them, right? So it
Yeah.
was really transitioning that pivoting moment of that identity shift and then knowing that I wasn't alone in the process. So I am like, if I can't find that community, I build it myself with Rooted in Her. And now providing as the president of the chapter for women to
Yes.
come together from all walks of life to remind us of our power, no matter what stage we're at.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask you about Rooted in Her and how that has become your calling and not just a concept.
Yes, to me, it's been so much more. It's been a movement to remind us women that whether we are navigating motherhood, whether we are in the shift of trying to pivot through a career of maybe of 20 years, that it's never too late to rewrite your story, and
Hmm.
that we shouldn't be stuck in a situation, in a relationship, in a space that we no longer fit anymore,
Yeah.
right? That we shouldn't just be stuck, that we can rewrite that. And I felt so at peace when I knew that I wasn't alone, because it also helped through my healing of
Yes.
knowing that there are others going through it, so we're going to get through it together.
Yes. I love that because sometimes we have to find our community. We have to build our own community
Yes.
because yeah, it's not out there. So I love that. Yeah. Now, Cynthia, how did you experience as a blended family mom inform you the way you had to approach your healing?
Oh, that was a bit tricky for me because my oldest, who's 15 today,
Oh.
for me, I was like, man, I want him to have like the best mom ever. And in order for me to do that, like I have to heal, right? He can't have like a bitter mom or a sad mom. I suffered from severe depression and, like I said, suicide ideation. So I was like,
Yeah.
he deserves a better
Mhm.
mom.
Yeah.
And in order for me to do that, I have to like fully heal for him to have that amazing mom that I know I am and I'm capable of.
Yes, what a beautiful gift for him, and what a beautiful gift for your children, and the most beautiful gift for yourself,
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely. It's really commendable. So yeah, absolutely. Yes. Now, what surprised you both the most about starting Taboo Talks Latina Edition together?
I think for me, it was like we kind of started
Mhm.
not like as a joke, but kind of like, oh, this is just like, a hobby. Like, let's just run with it.
Yeah.
Like, I have an idea. I presented it to Jeanette, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I'll be your co-host. And
Yeah.
we just like started.
Yeah.
And I'm just so impressed with the amount of people we've met, the
Yeah.
community we have built, the
Yes.
feedback that we're getting is just so amazing because it's like, man, thank you for talking about that taboo
Yeah.
because I
Yes.
also grew up believing in that. And
Hmm.
by you guys talking about it, I'm
Hmm.
realizing like, wow, yeah, I should be more open about this specific taboo. So the
Hmm.
feedback that we've gotten has been like surprising to me because we started
Yeah.
and we're like, yeah, we'll just start. Like our first episode, we released it on Thanksgiving week. And I was like, it's Thanksgiving week, no one's gonna watch it. I think that video alone has like 2 to 3 thousand views, like
Five.
Wow.
in a week. Five.
Five.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was what kind of gave us the push of like, okay, we do have
Yes.
something here, right? And it's so
Yes.
much more than a hobby. And
Yes.
something in nuestra cultura, knowing that the taboos are such a big deal, but nobody talks about it, right? We all blame, we all have healing to do, but nobody talks about it. So creating that
Yes.
space have also, I feel, opened up now to more women to also start talking about it and being like, there needs to be a change for the next generation.
Absolutely, yes. We always hear that, niña, eso no se habla, so you
Yeah.
guys are really, really, your message is landing. That is why, I said I have to have them on the show because I'm so proud of what you guys
Thank
are
you.
doing and the walls that you're breaking down, the conversations that are being had. So you guys definitely have created something that it's definitely landing with people. So
Thank you,
keep on
Karen.
going, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, what has been the most healing episode to film and why?
Jeanette, you want to take this one?
Actually, to me, we just finished recording one,
Okay.
and it really hit because I can't relate with her, but I know it's such a taboo that we don't talk about, and it's about grieving, right?
Mm.
She lost her husband
Oh,
while she was pregnant in an accident at
oh,
work, and she had to shift her entire life around within a week before her newborn was born. And to me,
oh.
those are the stories that really make an impact on me even greater because
Mhm.
it's not about just me, about how can it heal me, how can
Yeah.
it help me, but about how it can heal and help someone right now that it's going through it. Because sometimes we feel we're going through it ourselves and our problems are the worst.
Yeah.
That proved to me today that there's people out there with bigger problems and
Yes.
that we have a platform in order for people to feel that they're not alone and that if they're going through it right now or they experience it tomorrow, they can go back to it and be like, okay, how did she push through? Or let me remind myself that I'm not alone in this. So that episode, I can't wait for it to come out because we cried a lot. And I felt that even though it wasn't speaking to me, in a
Mm.
way, it's speaking to others. But I've grieved before with family members, not as hard, but it reminds us again that grieving is something we don't talk about and we put it in
No.
the back burner and we should be louder about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's that you bring that up, especially in our cultura. That is something you just continue on. You don't grieve, you don't talk about it. I mean, up to now, I have not had to go through that. And I honestly, to be raw with you guys, I am so scared when that time comes for me where I'm going to have to
Yeah.
grieve someone losing someone. And it's going to be hard because that's not what we're brought up with in our cultura. So
100%.
you're helping so many women, so many men, be able to say, hey, that is okay. That is part of the process, of life. So thank you, for that. Yeah. So I want to talk about our cultura, our healing, our Latina identity. So let's talk about cultura. Latinas are often taught, like we said, to be strong, quiet, self sacrificing. And it does show up in our careers, our motherhoods, our relationships, just in general, our life. So, what are some of the unspoken cultural rules that you've had to unlearn in order to fully reinvent yourselves?
I think for me is that therapy no es para los locos.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I grew up with a mother that would say that all the time.
Oof.
Oye, fulanito está en terapia, ese está loco.
Hmm.
So then when I reached a point in my life where I was like, man, I know I need therapy. I know I need help. I
Yeah.
was so scared to make that phone call, to make that appointment, because
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, what are they going to say? What is my mom going to say if she ever finds out that I'm going to therapy to get help?
Yeah.
So I had to really shut that noise down and really say, no, like that's a taboo we grew up hearing, and it
Mhm.
has to end with me. Therapy no es para lo loco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Therapy is needed, and therapy is, I mean, for me, I'm like, everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's healthy.
everyone should be in therapy, whether it's weekly, monthly. It's just so helpful to
Yes.
just sit down and just talk and go through your emotions.
Absolutely. It's healthy. It's a healthy thing to do. And we have to hit home on that. And I'm glad that you
Yeah.
guys are changing that narrative. Yeah. How about you, Jeanette?
To me, is being loud about what I want and what I need. I
Yeah.
feel like with our culture, right? It's like we are scared que nos van a criticar. I
Yeah.
don't want to post this because my mom or my family members watching
Mhm.
or my close friends grew up with me. What are they gonna think? And once I really put that behind me, I saw the shift within me of not just the growth in business or opportunities that came, but also in my personal life, like how I just didn't care anymore. And
Mhm.
I saw that growth of like, I'm going
Yeah.
to post what I want when I want to, as
Yeah.
many times as I like. And whether you like it or not, that's not on me. So owning that I feel that nuestra cultura kind of brings us down a little because we're so used to just, no, 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 that's not for us. Or, what are people going to think? I've been the opposite of that and owning it.
Love it. Love it. Have you ever experienced backlash for being so open and bold in your content and just living loud how you want publicly?
I've had, and sadly, is always from the fake accounts or private accounts, or
Mm.
from people who
Yeah.
really don't matter to me.
Hmm.
Family members have criticized here and there, but it's like their judgment of like, oh, make sure you still find a stability in your career.
Yeah.
Like go to your 9 to 5 or go to college. Don't depend like when I was doing acting in a gig or
Yeah.
in your bodybuilding career when I was into fitness, because once you have kids, you're never going to get your body back. So it was always like, well, no matter what I did, it was something kind of shifting me a different direction. And yes,
Yes.
it made me feel sometimes like, okay, maybe I'm not meant to do this. Nobody in my family did it. So what makes me think I can? But then it's
Hmm.
shifting that mindset and really believe within me of like, you know what? Yes, God put it in my heart and in my mind for a reason, and I'm going to run with it. And whoever is okay with it or not, that's not on me, right? But yeah, it's just embracing it and knowing that it happens to all of us, but you can't let that affect you.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Now, Cynthia, how do you balance being the cycle breaker while still holding on to love for your roots and your elders, like your parents, your mom, like you've said that had a big impact in you growing up.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty tough. I've learned boundaries.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to put a lot of boundaries, and I learned that through therapy because I was getting conflicted
Hmm.
because a lot of things that I was doing, I am the first one to be breaking a lot of cycles that just
Wow.
kept being repeated over and over in
Yeah.
my family. I was the first one that got divorced. I got married at a very young age, not knowing what I was doing, right? Only because of that expectation from my mother, right? Like
Yeah.
you're a certain age, like you should be getting married and then you should be having kids, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I went down that path and then I
Mhm.
quickly realized like I don't want this. Like I don't even
Mhm.
like love this person. So I
Yeah.
was the first one, to get divorced. And that was like a shocker, right, to my family. It's like, oh my God, look,
Yes.
está divorciada. Like, oh my God, what are people gonna think about our last name? You know
Yes.
how it
Oh,
is.
gosh.
Yeah.
Right? So
So
sad.
I've been like
I
the
hear
first
you loud and clear.
Yes. I've been like the first one. I've been like the black sheep of the family. I've
Mhm.
been the first one to break all these cycles. So for me in therapy, I
Mhm.
had this conflict of like, am I even making like my parents proud, right? Because of
Yeah.
all these things that I'm doing, I'm pivoting, I'm like rerouting myself. And
Mhm.
my therapist said, you're gonna have to start putting boundaries, like
Mhm.
hard boundaries, in
Yes.
order for you not to feel that way. And that's what
Yes.
I've done. I
Yes.
put boundaries and I always check in with myself, like when
Yeah.
I'm doing something or go visit my mom.
Yeah.
I always take a moment and I say, is it well with my soul?
Oof.
Oh, I
And I
love that.
check in.
Yeah.
And if I feel, you always get that gut feeling, right? If
Yeah.
I feel something is off, I'm like, it's not for me. Like I need to leave, right?
Wow.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you said, you said I'm the black sheep of my family. No, I think you're actually the light that is breaking the generational curses. You know, so it's very hard. I have a mom, she's in her 80s, and I was trying to explain boundaries to her. I'm like, Mami, esos son límites. Pero ¿qué es eso? Yo no sé qué son límites.
Yeah.
So, and it's very hard to explain
Oh
to
yeah.
them. And
It is.
And then they don't understand when you have those boundaries, that you are telling them. So these are
Yes.
my boundaries. This is what I have to do in order to protect myself, because a lot of people don't realize that boundaries are not for the other person. Boundaries are for yourself, and
Yes.
that's important. And you guys have made that very clear to your audience, that message. So it's we definitely great that you guys are doing that.
Thank you.
Jeanette, what advice can you give Latinas who feel called to speak out but fear of the judgment?
To just take the first step
Okay.
and take it one day at a time. I feel that we sometimes don't even get started because we overthink a lot. We overanalyze everything in our head, in our past, and the future, thinking that it was always going to be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And once you start taking those steps, knowing with intentions where you're heading, why you're
Yeah.
doing it, really putting yourself in the situation of this is really what I want, and I'm just going to step in without knowing what's going to happen, right? Works out great. If it doesn't, that's fine too.
Mhm.
But just going for it and breathing in the process and knowing that it's one step at a time, things get easier, right? Because we get too much in our head, and I feel that's what stops 99% of us from being that 1%, because
Yeah.
we overthink and we overanalyze before we even get started on something, and then we never get started, thinking that it might be the best thing that you ever do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. How about you, Cynthia?
I would just say just go for it, right? You're
Mhm.
always gonna have someone that's going to judge you, right?
Yes.
There's always someone that's gonna have to, they're gonna say something. So
Yeah.
just go for it.
Hmm.
Just go for it and do it, because you're always gonna have those negative or positive comments.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely. Yes, yes. All right, we have gone in deep, ladies, but I want to lighten this up. I want to get a little bit fun with you guys. Let's bring a little fun into this, all right? Lightning round, all right?
Okay.
Right.
Just say the first thing that comes to mind. Jeanette, a Latina that inspires you.
Selena Quintanilla.
Bidi bidi bam bam.
Rest in peace.
We all love her. Yes, rest in peace. Amen.
Yeah.
Cynthia, how about you? A Latina that inspires you.
Celia Cruz.
Woo! I
God.
love it.
We're taking it
Azúcar.
back.
Yes, I love it. La negra tiene tumbao.
Tiene tumbao, tiene tumbao.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I have a great story that I'll tell you guys one day about Celia Cruz.
Ooh, can't wait to
Yes,
hear it.
I have to tell you guys about that. All right. Word that you overuse too much on Taboo Talks Latina Edition.
I was gonna say taboo. Because that's always what we
Taboo.
focus on, and we always end it like, what taboo are you still trying to break? We say taboo way too
Taboo.
many times.
Yes, taboo. I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Jeanette, you agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
Dynamic duo is on the same page on that one. All right. Cynthia, heels or sneakers?
Oh, sneakers.
Sneakers. Okay. Jeanette?
Sneakers. I know you ladies are surprised. Sneakers.
I
I thought you were
I
gonna
was
say
thinking she was going
heels.
to say heels. Yes. Okay. Definitely. Okay. Most taboo topic you have not tackled yet, but you guys are wanting to.
Ooh, I have two, if I can say two.
Yeah, go ahead.
Blended family, because
Okay.
I'm a blended family,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up in a blended family. So
Okay.
something definitely I want to talk about, and then infertility, in the
Mm.
Latina
Ooh.
community, because I feel like it's not spoken a lot about.
Yes, absolutely. How about you, Jeanette?
There's actually one that came to mind because we're going to record actually a Breaking Taboos on it. And it's about being a parent or not. And I think
Mhm.
that's one of the topics, especially in the Latina culture, that, we are parents and that's a blessing. But
Yes.
there is a lot of women out there, no matter what culture you're in, really, that they have that pressure that they have to be a mom or they're getting to a certain age
Yes.
and they have to become a mom sooner than later, but maybe they're not ready or they just never wanted to be a mom. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's a lot of judgment in that, right? So I think as women, we should be louder about it and encourage them and support them, even if they were not meant to become a mom or not in this life or it's not their season. that we
Mm-hmm.
still got to applaud them and we still got to root for them. And I think that's a subject we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, that's a great subject. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, because that's the first thing you hear is ¿Qué le pasa a ella if she's not having babies right away or they
Or like,
decide?
hurry up, right? Hurry up, dale, que ya. Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally you're married and after your I do, you're walking out the church like, and where are the kids? You
Yes.
know, it's in that culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and nowadays a lot of women don't want to have those babies. And like you said, still applaud them. They're great tias, you know?
There you
So
go. And that's
there,
okay. That they have
yeah,
other
that's okay.
priorities. They have that's their
Yeah.
life. And we gotta be okay with it, right? But it's going back to that culture expectation we gotta start breaking.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. Let's talk about legacy, ladies. Legacy. Now, you are building more than a show. You guys are building a movement. What legacy are you most proud of creating with Taboo Talks Latina Edition so far?
To me, it's breaking cycles, breaking generational
Mm,
expectations.
okay.
No matter what taboo it is or how you got raised or where you come from, I feel we're all still trying to break something from our past that we're not ready to let go or we
Yeah.
haven't even realized it. And I think that's something powerful that reminds us together that we can and that we're not alone.
Yes. How about you, Cynthia?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very similar. And I just can't wait for, I have, teens,
Mm-hmm.
especially my girls, to
Mm-hmm.
start listening to some of the episodes because, this legacy that we're building is
Mm-hmm.
for them, right? For them to be like, oh, wow, look at what my mom is building. Look at the taboos that she's had to break. So I
Yeah.
can't wait for that moment, like that, like, haha, like, aha moment for them.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah, we do. We have to speak to our children, especially our daughters young, that it's okay, there is don't stay within these four walls that our culture has inserted in us. So,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. All right, if every Latina listening to this episode walked away with one truth you want them to remember, what would it be?
For me, it would be you are worthy
Mm-hmm.
and take up space. Take up space and walk into those rooms where they told you you were not allowed because
Yeah.
you are allowed.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Jeanette?
It's never too late to rewrite your story. And it goes
Yeah.
hand in hand with what Cynthia said. Don't
Mm-hmm.
let anybody define you, whether it's family, friends, the insecurity, criticism. Just walk in your purpose
Mm-hmm.
and be okay with breaking those generational expectations, whatever is standing in your way to really own your story. And it's never too late, no matter what stage you're in, to rewrite that chapter.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, ladies, we are coming to the end. I'm so sad because I just truly enjoy speaking with you ladies and having these incredible conversations. But I always ask the last question of every guest on Reinvention Real Talk. And I am excited to hear your answers. So, in what one word, what is reinvention for each of you? Jeanette?
To me, is resilience.
Mm,
I don't remind myself enough of the power I've had to get
mhm,
up and keep
mhm.
going,
Yeah.
fighting who I had to fight along the way, rebuild myself from a heartbreak, from a miscarriage,
Mm,
from everything that I experienced, and now be where I am today and everything I have was due to that resilience and the faith, of course, knowing that God was with me along the way.
yes. Yeah. Cynthia?
I love that. For me, is rebirth.
Mm,
Because I feel like I have shedded the old me, the one that was holding on, to fear,
yeah.
to expectation, right? The conditioning of how we grew up. And
Hmm.
this year is my rebirth, and I'm just being me, the Cynthia I was always meant to be.
Hmm. I love it. Wow, girl, ladies, those are just really two strong, words. I love it. And I want to know, how do we find you? Let our listeners know, how do they find you guys?
So on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, we are Taboo Talks dot Latina Edition. So you can find us there. We are on all the social media platforms. And then, yeah, I think Jeanette has her own
Yes, and then
personal.
I have my personal, which I am Jeanette Miranda. And
Okay.
also on the link on our bio, they'll be able to also submit their form if they want to be a guest and they want to share their story, any sponsorship or collaboration opportunity. We're always willing to grow and continue to be part of the community as much as we can.
Yes, I love that. And it'll all be linked in the show notes. So definitely go
Mhm.
there so you can connect with these amazing ladies. Jeanette Miranda, Cynthia Martinez, the voices behind Taboo Talks Latina Edition. You are cycle breakers, space makers, soul shakers. And I want to thank you so much for always showing up with truth, with humor, and unapologetic Latina energy. So for
Thank you.
everyone listen, please make sure to follow Taboo Talks Latina Edition. Tune into all their episodes because they truly are healing. And remember, it's not taboo, it's revolutionary what they're doing. So don't forget, subscribe, share this episode with a mujer who needs to hear it, and keep reinventing yourself out loud. I am Karen Larrea, and this is Reinvention Real Talk. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Karen. Such an honor.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.